I did. I plugged it in up there, not up there.
Yep. I blame Marvin.
Yeah, well, you got to plug
Marvin's
it in.
fault.
You got to plug it in at both ends.
Marvin's fault.
Yeah. That's
Marvin forgot. Well, he turned the microphone on. He didn't plug it in.
well
At that end.
I plugged half of it in.
Half plugged in. Half. There's an important distinction here. Tweet out the live thing. I got to get to the live thing so I can see the chat. Welcome to Vlog Thursday, episode 74, with a little Unify in our life.
We're going to get all unified up.
Unified up. We had a great time today of doing the video. That was awesome. So, let me tweet this. So keep talking, Marvin. Keep them amused while I tweet.
Great idea. We did have some fun this morning doing the mesh video. It's great when they put technology in cars that lets you plug things in. So I have a 110 outlet in my car, and Steve has one in his car. So we were able to finally get the mesh video done. I know a lot of you have been asking for it, like every week. So it is now just in the editing stages. So now you can simply yell at Tom to edit faster, because we did shoot it. But so we had this big guy on the shop outside on the pole, and then one of these in my car, another one in Steve's car, and we went to various spots outside and tried to see how far we could get Wi-Fi. And so we made it probably like how far is Checkers down there? Probably a third of a mile, maybe.
I think it's further. I
know it's more than a quarter. I don't think it's quite a half. So somewhere between quarter and half a mile.
If anyone is feeling pioneering to guesstimate how far this is, you can pull it up on Google Maps, use our building, and look for the Checkers down the street, the Checkers fast food place. Mm-hmm. That's where we had the Wi-Fi working.
We bounced it to a store, a convenience store across the street where my car was, and then over to the Checkers, because we weren't quite line of sight from the building. There's a car wash in the way. So,
wow, we got a lot of hellos from. We got Denmark, we got Sweden, we got Germany. We got a lot of global representation.
A lot of Vikings. Here. I like it. Yeah. Oh, Vikings. Yeah. Look, Vikings.
Yes.
Hey, finally made it to a live episode. Well, and we're glad to have you. Molasses. I like that. That's good. I like that. Ireland. Well, top of the morning to you.
Isn't it evening there?
I don't know what it is.
I
think they're like 6 hours ahead of us. So yeah, it's like 10 o'clock.
It's an evening. Whatever. It's awesome.
We're international. Is the
international.
Point. Woo!
So
we should try to bounce Wi-Fi across the Atlantic.
We need to send Wi-Fi across the Atlantic. Look, Elon's busy with this. All right, the guy's working on global internet.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
Lithuania.
Holy cow! Awesome. Yeah, 9:30 p.m. in the UK.
Oh, there you go.
So we're an evening show.
Great. We're in prime time.
Unify gear cloud key after power outage. That's a fair question. I've heard this. I have not witnessed it. And I say heard, not witnessed. I'm doing a follow-up video really soon on a stadium that we put Wi-Fi in for UniFi. And we've updated it, and they've had a cloud key, and they have all kinds of random power outages because of where they're at. Matter of fact, they themselves just unplug everything and power the place down when they're not using the stadium. And it's worked perfectly fine. But I have heard people say that they've had problems with the cloud key before. I believe Willie has someone sent him, and don't quote me on this, and I think Willie mentioned something before about having a cloud key that he was diagnosing it. Seems like it was a cloud key. Could have been some other device. Anyways, I won't go too far off topic on that. My video is kind of jerky. That's his fault. He's a jerk.
I'm a jerk. I can't help it. You know what? And I don't care. Yeah, that's how much of a jerk I am.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't
reload.
Yeah.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Have you tried turning it off again? I blame YouTube. I blame Marvin. I blame everyone but me and the technology within this room. I have no idea. It's honestly, we do have the videos hard lined out to a server. I'm going to do a studio tour pretty soon to show like how all this works. So that way people can get an idea. It looks like it's working over there.
Well, up there it's working. Here it is a little jerky, but
yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, we'll close your session. You're just sucking bandwidth up, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have QoS turned on. The problem is never us, because here's the weird thing. The guys are on the phone over there, and when we look at the bandwidth, we're not peaking out our bandwidth. So I don't know. It's doing, and we don't know why it doesn't. I may be switching this around to do OBS instead, because that seems to work a little bit better. And when you do it that way, when you set up with a stream key, you can force the stream to be lower. This is a direct feed to YouTube, And when we do the direct feed, we don't get, at least I don't see the option. I'm looking at the screen because it's on another monitor over here where we can see. I don't see an option. It kind of auto negotiates the stream speed. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we titled it Fixing Outlook Printers and UniFi Mesh. So it's mind-numbing occasionally. We were talking about what it is to work in IT, and Kyle's like, nothing I learned in college really applies. I'm like, yeah, they don't tell you in college. It's not real glamorous to say, you looking for a career in IT? You're going to spend a lot of time fixing stupid printer problems. And it is ridiculous what we actually do. Outlook, well, and this is the where the humans, like, you think you're going to do something great in technology, and then you realize the problem is nobody ever wants to move off Outlook. I loathe Outlook. I support Outlook. I've never been an Outlook user ever.
I was
I'm sorry. I was I was a Thunderbird person before I was back in the day, and some of the other projects forever. Anyways, yeah, so it's just mind-numbing how much that people screwing up printers and Outlook is just years and years of what we do and the problems we solve. It's just absolute constant for us. And I don't know, it's not getting any better. It's funny to think of all these amazing AI tools that exist, facial recognition, able to identify nuances in human emotion by looking at you and determine expression. We were discussing this because I've seen some of these demos and they're outstanding. And you're like, but Outlook and printers quit. It just... That's mostly what IT is, from the day-to-day, what we make money doing is that. It's kind of mind-numbing. And granted, it's because we're in the support industry. We do IT for small business. That's why we're not there. But it's amazing that these AI systems, we can invent AI systems. We can launch rockets and land them on floating pads.
In the water.
But we can't make a printer continuously work, and we can't figure out why we have to just, I don't know, we're going to reset up your profile on Outlook today because today is the day Outlook decided it doesn't like your profile anymore. We don't know why. And the why doesn't matter anymore. There's not even more troubleshooting. You literally just delete the profile, recreate it, it fixes the problem. And from
it's Microsoft reminding you whose bitch you are.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Don't ever forget that we control this.
Yeah. And I'm not talking we avoid at all costs your consumer printers. The printer we were just fixing 10 minutes ago is a commercial $15,000 leased printer at an office, a small business office. It's not some thing they went and bought off the shelf at some big box store. They ordered it. They have a lease. We don't know why, but occasionally, and not even on the same computer twice, the driver has to be removed, not reinstalled. Reinstall does the same thing. Uninstall, reinstall, fix. It's randomly occurred at a handful of computers. Here's the thing. All the computers are the same. The user workload is the same. They all use the same software. That's kind of cookie cutter the same. We don't know why these computers have had to have the printer reloaded. And of course, the owner of the company is, well, why did those have a problem? We don't know. We can't figure out what they did different because everyone runs the same thing. We just kind of go, it happens. Meh. And it's just kind of there's nobody going to pay me enough to try and diagnose it. Not to mention it doesn't make logs. So it's not diagnosing it. There's no, how am I supposed to figure this out? It doesn't have a log. It doesn't give an error. It doesn't print. That's the only thing we know. It just goes into Never Never Land with no error message. I don't know. Yeah. But it's so funny because that's how so much of that stuff.
And so that's how you end up spending 4 to 6 years in college.
Yeah.
And then fixing printer. And then removing and reinstalling a driver.
Yeah,
that's what you get to do.
Yeah, and it's almost like that's our go-to. Someone asked why we do it instead of showing troubles. I'm like, there's not logs in most of this stuff. It's just like, so security. I was kind of thinking about this, and I realized there's a lot of questions people have, and it's harder to explain. But I like being able to explain things in a video, and I'm going to be able to reply with the video. I may do some security fundamental videos. That way, some people just kind of get mixed up on concepts, and it will also help because we have people who want help with different firewalls, different configurations, and I'm gonna kind of make a Q&A video for those things of why this is good or why that's bad or when you are or when you're not protected and when you should do things. Like I said, it's going to be helpful hopefully to people so they can kind of get it figured out. I've seen a handful of people complaining and wanting attribution all the time for how they got hacked. And I'm like, you guys don't realize when you're using non-commercial routers, there's not a way to attribute a lot of this. There's not even a way to diagnose if you have an infected router. And this goes back to my VPN filter talk, because there's just no logs. The system does not log things. It's a consumer router that you drop in and solves kind of a basic problem. I know some of them are non-consumer and those ones would have logs, but most of the people infected are not those. And of those infected, those people don't have IT people. That's why they never got updated and they're infected as well. So yeah, that's a little rant on that. Good news is, because all this wonderful mesh stuff and these giant UniFi things, which I got to do a review, I think, of this device itself, which isn't really that exciting. The only thing different about this compared to that is it's bigger, has more antennas, and this is metal. Yeah, thunk.
Yeah, that's
so we're gonna definitely more UniFi equipment reviews. I kind of want to, but I don't want to break the weather seal. I do want to take one of these apart at some point. I kind of want to look at them.
It is incredibly light, like for something that big.
This
it's
weighs
all.
nothing.
It's all just antenna in there. So.
Yeah, it's all just antenna. This is basically.
I think this piece right here is probably lighter than this.
There's a yes.
It's
a metal
it's pretty
bracket.
Close.
Yeah.
This metal bracket is at least as heavy as this whole thing is. So.
Yeah. So the reason they have them designed like this enclosed, they put the antenna in an optimal way versus these, which you can do the rabbit ear thing and spin them around. So it's this, but I know there's more antennas in this, and you can see when you compare them like this that the way they're enclosed. So
is it 4 in there or 3 maybe?
I think 3.
Yeah.
Details matter. I'm reading details when I'm doing a proper review. This is just a hey, this is cool review.
And a quick tip. You'll also pick this up when you watch the mesh video. You'll see an interesting way that you can mount these on a vehicle. We'll show you that in the mesh video.
Yes,
so make
in
sure
the
you
mesh
watch
video.
the mesh video.
Watch the mesh video when we get that done. We'll get it published. The other thing too about the way these mount is it's on Twitter. We show how they mount them. They happen to grab it in windows, and you can also put them in your mouth.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you did the Twitter one. Yeah, they'll mount right in the window. It's awesome.
They'll mount in your mouth. Yep. These things are great.
You can mount them with a little creativity. You can have Wi-Fi just about everywhere.
Yes,
I'll let your mind run wild on that one.
You can get your Wi-Fi wherever you want it,
wherever you need it to go.
That's
this is a judgment-free zone.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, these are waterproof. So fluids won't get inside of them.
Tested.
That being said, we will move on from that topic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also my popularity of my getting started with Netgate and some of the Pfsense stuff, and I've been recommending a lot.
Show this. So
yeah,
people can see it.
I'm gonna do. Ooh. So I did my hardware video and getting started. Let me grab the piece because it's over here. Ooh, Marvin wants to unbox things now.
I really do. Oh, look at that. That's pretty.
That's pretty. They do a nice job of packaging. Yeah. We just ordered some more of these.
Just for the packaging. We don't even have a use for them.
Yeah,
I just want the
packaging because it's so pretty. I did my getting started with Pfsense video, and I showed, you can buy a basic network card and stuff like that. But the one of the things I wanted to point out, and a lot of businesses asked me this, and I was just consulting with someone the other day. I helped them with the network issue, and they're going to swap out to Pfsense. They're going to do a site-to-site VPN. They're getting rid of some old Sonic walls. But one of the things that people look at is they just look at the specs and they go, well, that's too small, or that's not enough horsepower to do what I want to do. And I'm like, you're thinking wrong. You got to remember, a lot of these, when you refer to them as like these small appliances, they don't have to put 16 gigs of RAM in that thing to do it, because you're not running it the same way. That little Netgate has no problem with a small office. That's kind of what this company we're going to be doing some setup for. There's a dozen people in one office. There's only 3 people in the other office with the VPN. And then it's got a warehouse with some printers. So the VPN is so they can, from in another state, they just queue up labels to print at the other office, which is a warehouse. So they just send the labels from their main servers there. That's what the VPN does. And this is like, I said, these are the use cases. That does it perfectly fine. It does not. It only has, I think, a couple gigs of RAM. That's it. Those SG3100s are solid. And the other thing you're going to get, and this matters more in some areas, less in others. I know overseas it's a much bigger concern. the net gates only use, I think that was like a 10 watt. I have it on my review. I have how many watts the SG3100 uses. You're talking about another computer using like 80 or 100 watts, and that's not substantial in terms of like data centers and things like that. But when you start looking at small offices, all those little things you start plugging in add up. So going with some of these netgate devices, not a bad idea at all. Does the Edge router have that? No, the Edge. Well, no. As far as I know, the Edge router doesn't. I don't think so. I know that these ones don't have that. They do have some packet inspection, but they don't have that. These are another thing. I even run this at home. My internet at home, I don't care about the deep packet inspection. It's not turned on. Basically, at home, there's 2 computers that play video games and Netflix. Lots of Netflix and YouTube because I got kids, and me and my wife watch Netflix. We're almost redoing the DS9 series.
I was going to say, don't let him fool you. He watches a lot of Netflix too.
I watch do
I.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna. And
I watch
YouTube. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I mostly watch. Me and my wife, we decided to. She had not seen DS9. I'm not married a woman who didn't see DS9, so I remedied that, and she's watched all the TNG. So,
well, of course,
yeah,
that's funny. I last summer I binged TNG, and I started DS9 again a couple months ago, but I kind of fell off. So
yeah, well, we completed it.
Need to come back to it.
There's a couple episodes I think we kind of skipped because there's certain ones I just don't care for,
Yeah.
but. They took a little bit too many liberties with the writing, and I'm like, it just wasn't interesting to me.
Good.
But this little box is what I run at home. It sits in my closet. People have asked me, "Oh, do you have a whole network at home?" No, actually, besides the gaming system, I have no listening devices besides my phone. As a matter of fact, my phone and my kids' phones, we put them. I have one of those charging docks, which I got to bring in. I think it's a cool review. I think it's an 8-port charging dock, and we have everything lined up on it. We plug everything in. And that's where we leave all our devices. We're not like one of those connected homes with all these fancy gadgets. I'm not really that kind of guy at home. So
Tom very much does not trust IoT.
I know what's in IoT. Therefore, I am not putting more listening devices in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So take it for what it's worth. If you want, we sell. We've recommended and set them up for people. And it's funny because a lot of people want to put them on protected networks. The fact that you have it in your house is the security flaw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doubtful, not that it doesn't hurt to put it on a separate network, but I'm doubtful that your Google Home or your Amazon thing,
Alexa.
Yeah, we probably just set a few of them off. I'm doubting that either of those pose an actual attack surface risk. I mean, they could. So put them on a separate network. That's fine. Statistically, though, those 2 companies are very tight on security. They make a good product, so it's unlikely. Most of your problem is the fact that is a listening box, and they've already have all kinds of proof of concepts. And of course, that one lady who was in the news,
who emailed her
friend,
like a coworker, emailed a coworker like entire conversations.
Yeah. So, you can solar power the mesh. I've seen people do it. Maybe that's one of the things I'll do. I'll talk about the wattage it takes, because it's not that you can't solar power a mesh. You can solar power anything. It's just you have to do a wattage calculation. So you can daisy chain out into some rural area without power with a solar panel on there, but you just have to have a solar panel big enough to supply it. So it's not that you can't. I know because I've had some friends. There's some what is that project called? There's actually one here in Detroit. I'm not friends with people that built it, but it's a mesh network in Detroit where they built some private internet, and a couple of them nodes, because the buildings that they hopped them across, they have solar arrays they put on with battery packs to power them. So you can do it.
Which is more efficient, a solar or a wind turbine?
We don't have enough wind here.
Even like up on a building?
Yep. Even on a building, we just don't have enough. So
fair enough.
They're all back ordered on it.
You plug in a fan and you point the fan at it.
There you go. Plug in the fan, point it at a wind thing. That'll do it. I seen a great tweet the other day that made me laugh too. It's like, we've spent so many kilowatts of energy mining Bitcoin. How do we get the Bitcoin back into energy? Is it stored energy? Did we figure out a way to store it? No, it doesn't work that way at all.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I have a couple of these.
Solar to wind to battery backup.
Solar to wind. I think I have one I can sell. If you can't find one at all, message us. I think we have one extra. These are all accounted for. All the ones of these we ordered are getting installed. So I just happen to have one extra. Maybe.
No, we don't.
No,
I think that's spoken for.
Okay, more projects.
We did, but we had a project come in. I think that's spoken for.
Okay, we've had a lot of projects approved lately, so yeah, that's that shortage of parts definitely an issue. We got a deposit on a job that we're hunting parts for right now, so it's another UniFi camera install. So yeah, willing to ship to France. So years ago I ran an eBay store. I'm sorry, I am unless they've changed things a lot, and I've heard it's gotten worse. I don't want to ship anything internationally.
You know what though? Pay for it. I will personally deliver it.
Yeah, if you fly me over there, this will fit a carry-on. Fly me to France.
You should have no problem getting through TSA with that in your bag.
You know, it's funny. I have a screwed up video that didn't get published of someone says, do you guys like hot sauce? Which, of course, you know we do. And do we make our own concoctions? I make a lot of them. I make a lot of concoctions. Matter of fact, that is part of our deliberation we have. We all sit on a table and mix sauces as people may mix a drink up.
Yeah, we haven't done a hot sauce video in a while. People are really.
I did one and I screwed it up.
Well,
we screwed it up and it was too hard to edit. I looked at it. I'm like, this is crap. I don't know. Sometimes like I do things and I'm like, if it's not good enough, I think for the channel, and I know the bar's pretty low for what's good enough for the channel, but like I do quash some videos and going, I don't think this is watchable.
We should have a rejected YouTube channel.
We should
let
make
the people decide.
Yeah, we'll make a rejected ideas channel.
Yeah, if you like it enough, we'll move it to the real channel.
Yeah, if you like it enough, we'll upload it again. Yeah, I just didn't think the video was up to muster, and yeah, I ummed too much, and
it happens. Well, we'll have to do some. Well, the big thing is we need to get some new hot sauces. We haven't gotten any new hot sauces in a while. We've built this. I mean, we put together a lot of concoctions already. So
I think someone needs to invent some new hot sauces.
There you go.
We got problems with that right now. Like, need to invent them for sure. So, what else did I want to cover today? I'm trying to remember. Because my brain's been fried. We've been doing so many projects. I was trying to get
a lot of out of like remote ones for like setting up firewalls.
We set up a lot of VPNs this week for people.
Yeah.
I love the honesty of someone we helped the other day. He listens to the channel, so hey, I won't lie if you're listening. And this is not a dig at all. I just appreciated your honesty because what I liked what he said was I'm like, what did you click? He's like, everything. I can't remember. I clicked so many buttons and I was just like, okay. Because I'm like, did you change a setting? He goes, I can't remember what setting I changed. I almost wanted to start over. And so
this is kind of timely. Somebody asked if Invoice Ninja has a ticketing system.
Invoice Ninja is working, and I'm working with them on designing a ticketing system. I'm not the biggest fan of the way a lot of ticketing systems work. I'm actually not a fan of a lot of the way invoicing systems I've tried work. Invoice Ninja is one of the few ones that I felt that the workflow fit with the way we do things, and I really like it. So I'm working with the developers, and we are coming up with and brainstorming, and I don't know the exact implementation date, but they code fast. Like they're already at version. We've upgraded 4 times, 4 different versions since we've got it, and some of the features were ones we requested were put in a week. Part of it. Please note, don't just assume that you can have things put in a week. Part of the reason they were able to pull them in is I was able to look at the code and put together a logical workflow and the changes and suggestions. So when I'm discussing things with developers, I'm talking about not just an idea, but how to implement that idea and how that idea would function, how the database would see it. So when you present something like that, and then it's also a good idea, people like it and they understand it, it can easily be implemented. So that's a big difference to them. They also, some people have just thrown out, like, if you look at the suggestions, I'm like, why did you guys even suggest this type thing? Someone's like, they compared it to a large commercial enterprise piece of software. It's very expensive. And their suggestion was, can't you just make it like this software? Yeah. And I was being murdered laughing, like, that's not even a suggestion.
That's like, just complaining.
It's just complaining. The person says, well, I like this software because it has way more features than your software. Oh, it's an enterprise expensive ERP platform with every bell and whistle. You can't just throw it out there and say, oh, can you just throw this in?
Yeah, do it.
Like this, can you just build?
Yes, give me $10,000 and I will build it for you.
And the same thing, my friend owns a programming company, and there's just so many times that we've gone through, like someone had pitched this idea. This is what they wanted him to do. And I've had this pitched to me. The guy wanted to contract me to help him with some of this too. It's funny. We ran the same guy, both two people they went to. I'm not a programmer. And when I went to reflect and put the person over in front of Anthony, partly to be funny, the same answer. Like he's like, he already contacted me. Anyways, the guy's like, I search for businesses on Google and the ones I'm looking for don't come up. Okay. I want to build a better Google that the businesses do come up, the ones I want to. I got about 20,000 to put in this project. I'm like, and he thought that was a massive number for software coding. And I'm like, it's not.
20,000 to replace Google? Yeah, I see that happening.
Yeah, exactly. And there was another guy that had paid for a nationwide database of all the businesses in the United States. It was a big database. It was huge. By the way, that's all publicly available information. It's just not consolidated. You can go to, in Michigan, it's called the LARA system, and you can download lists of businesses out of it. There's people that run scrapers and things like that to pull all the data out. So there is ways to aggregate that data. Whoever aggregated it for him charged him a bunch of money, and he thought by taking that database and publishing it somewhere, he could charge access for it and then have it index better than Google and then sell all the SEO positioning and stuff like that. I'm like, cool, you just reinvented Google's business pages and Yellow Pages business model all over again.
Sure.
Good job.
Way to go.
And then he said he could outdo Google. I'm just like,
thumbs up.
Yeah. So it's just
keep trying that. Let us know how it goes. You know what? We'll search for you. Find it out.
Yeah, so these are all those fun, crazy things that we do. Valentina's, we do have that.
Oh, yeah, that's one of our faves. We use that to cool down after the really hot stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, software licenses, I mean, it varies with industry, but the higher value your industry is, like the higher dollars that your industry, especially if you work in financials, those pieces of software are highly expensive. I used to be a chief tech officer for a transportation company, and this goes back, 15 years ago was the last time I had a real job doing that. But man, it was just like, it was one of those, we spent like, I don't know, $30,000 a year. And that was 15 years ago on software licenses. That was like our annual
How
fees.
much?
30,000. I mean, that was just, that just managed our trucking software. That's how that works. So, do you have a local insurance provider for your business liability insurance or one of the online providers? We actually switched. We currently use a local guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was with State Farm. I guess they're online/national. My business liability insurance, knock on wood, is very, very cheap. You get cheaper liability insurance a couple ways. One, lower risk in my market. Two, no claims. 3, been in business for 15 years without a claim.
No claims.
No claims.
Keep knocking.
So, yeah, that's best part of how that works. Now, someone says, "What do I think of Cisco?" I mean, I'm not excited. I'm happy that Cisco is doing an internal code audit. They found all kinds of craziness in their stuff. If you follow Talos, the security arm of Cisco, there is a mess they have found, and there's no attribution to this that they're publicly exposing. So good news is they're sorting it out. Bad news is somehow, some way, and I don't think it was malicious necessarily. Of course, a lot of people wrap up the tinfoil hat and get excited that it's the government putting backdoors in Cisco. They've been reporting previously undisclosed hard-coded passwords and stuff in Cisco. I didn't read all the details. I actually more specifically heard Steve Gibson talking about it, but how's that pass code review? That's my question. And this is also one of those things that it's why I love open source so much. That doesn't fly in open source. You will not find in any popular open source products, you won't find them going, hey, Pfsense is not likely to hard code a password. It would be noticed in the change logs. It'd be noticed there. And that is just a better standard. And I don't know how internally this happened at Cisco. And not that I'm knocking Cisco overall as a bad product. They actually have a lot of products that are very, unique to their business. They're not cheap. They do not make a horrible product. And we do have clients with Cisco and we support it. Matter of fact, Steve is on the phone with someone today doing some Cisco project. I'm not sure. That's right. Steve's my Cisco guy more than I am. I can solve it and muddle through it. Steve's actually went to school for Cisco, and I don't know. I don't know the Cisco things. He's got the Cisco thing, whatever that is.
I have a Cisco phone on my desk.
Yeah, he's got this.
And I can't even transfer a call right. So
yeah,
don't look at me.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got, and then if I need more advanced, I have a friend who also doesn't just have like every Cisco cert you can have. He's actually worked for Cisco and helped write some of the training on it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he happens to live around here. He's a neat guy. He's really funny, and he's the most ornery tech person you could ever imagine. That's part of the reason why he's so fun to hang out with. Like, he hates everything. He's the grumpiest tech ever. He just.
Awesome.
He's also, very wordy
Grumpy
and stuff like
tech.
that. So, as an IT business owner, I'm curious about what business process, job tracking, job workflows through tech on-site billing, blah, blah, blah. Thoughts on MikroTik? No thoughts on them. I just haven't used them. No clients I have them. I've heard some people like them. Someone said the interface is confusing. I have not used it to be able to answer that question from my perspective. So I really got nothing on there. Someone also asked about Pfsense Ha. If you want to do Pfsense Ha, I recommend you buy the equipment directly from and the support from the folks at Pfsense. And the reason why is it's a complicated setup. You buy their products, so you get a paired, perfectly matched product. HA is a very tricky little thing to do. It's an awesome, but it has to be configured properly to work. So when it comes to HA, as in failover of device, not failover of WAN or load balancing, but failover of physical hardware devices, you have to have the devices exact so everything can stay perfectly in sync. You can't just grab a couple different random ones. And you can buy an HA pair with the support from the Pfsense people directly. So that's like, if you ask me how to do it, I just defer to that because they do it right. Same thing. We've sold HA setups for like the TrueNAS. That's why we did the review of the TrueNAS box. Same exact rule. If you want that HA setup, you need the support. And when you get it, they actually tell you, you need our support engineers to do this. And you do. I know I work directly with the engineers configuring, setting up for our tests with the TrueNAS box. It's the same protocol because they're both based on FreeBSD. It's not that it's hard or delicate per se. It just has to be done right. And anyone who wants an HA setup, it's because you have a very high volume, high demand. Do you want an amateur to set it up, or do you want the people who specialize in setting it up? Yeah. So if you want to trust everything to it, you want to do it right, and I would contact them. Went through and just gonna watch all the ubiquity. Curious about business process. I think I've talked about that. Look through some of my business talks. I definitely have some talks on business process. There are a couple of videos I've done, and I can do more. If you don't find what you're looking for in my current set of videos, I'm going to do some more eventually. Most of our process and workflow, I think in my invoice intro, I talk about kind of the workflow of how that all happens. What's that noise?
I'm going to guess the light is getting hot.
Okay, fair enough. Somewhere, do you have somewhere Pfsense cluster? I don't know. Anyways, UEPACM access point you have in your hands. How do you personally arrange the antennas when you install one?
Make it look like a bunny.
Look like a rabbit. We've been putting them straight up. We've had them like this. I haven't found that I have a problem either way. I should probably talk to an engineer who knows better, but it doesn't seem to make. We were goofing around with it. It doesn't seem to make a massive difference. I could be wrong, and someone's probably going, no. If you move them 4 degrees apart, I'm sure there's some wiring engineer that is actually going to tell me this. But I put them straight up and they work. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I have not done enough testing of each one because I know just goofing around, the Wi-Fi doesn't seem to move much when I goof around with them. So I haven't.
Hey, Uncle Skeet, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Uncle Skeet,
and you're welcome for the Pfsense info. And remember to skeet.
Yes, you can do mesh. That's one of the things I'm going to cover in the mesh video is all the little details of this. But these will mesh together. These will even mesh with some of the round ones. The Unifys are. I'm going to try to find the matrix. I think they have a matrix somewhere on their site, and that'll be part of the video for the final wrap up of the video. Is all the ways they'll mesh. You can mesh from this one to another one of these. You can mesh from this to another one of this, and you can mesh between a mix of devices. So they actually support all the different ones on there. Integramat, never heard of it. Migrated from Zapier. You know, a lot of our stuff doesn't. We've played with Zapier some. A lot of our stuff doesn't not things that we need to do in terms of the market automation. Not for my general IT business. We've helped other companies with some of that, but most of our stuff is not automated in that way that we can use Zapier for it. There's nothing like we thought like, hey, we can do this. We can invoice it, for example. One of the cool integrations, there's a plugin in Zapier that allow you to use a Google Docs to create automated invoices into Invoice Ninja. Cool.
Okay.
I don't have a use case for that. There's not anything that I need to do that does that, because Invoice Ninja already has recurring billing. For example, all of our managed clients are recurring billing. And if you need token-based repetitive billing, they support Braintree. So you can do the credit card billing automatically with stuff like that. So they already have a lot of that automation built right into Invoice Ninja. So I haven't needed a third-party external app or anything to automate something. So neat. I like those tools. I think they're cool. They mostly apply to some of our clients who have things like that. Cylinder for pole mount, 50 tall. Yep. They mount on poles.
Duct tape.
IPsec with your free PBX. Nope. Free PBX is chooching right along in a virtual PBX machine.
Skookum is frig.
Skookum is frig. My 5-year-old RB, I don't know what RB 2012 is. Do you have support model posts install these installs weekly? How do you price ongoing revenue stream and maintain them? That's interesting. We're trying to come up with a standalone. We have a couple people ask us about standalone Wi-Fi, so we've thrown some prices out there, and we're working on the standalone part, trying to kind of come up with what's a relatively easy price. But I mean, here's the thing with Wi-Fi. We installed, and this is like, I have a client that they don't have managed Wi-Fi. They have a cloud key on site, and they manage it themselves, which I know they call us in like once a year to do updates. We installed their Unifis in 2014. In 4 years, they've had 0 problems. Repeat, 0 problems. They've changed the password a couple of times. They've updated the software, never, unless they call us to do something else while we're out there. They ask us to update it. So when you try to say, hey, I'll manage your Wi-Fi for X dollars per month, they go, why? We haven't had a problem. We have 10 devices across our property, and it's a rental property place, and they don't care. It's sometimes really hard to sell on it. And it's funny because they've had someone pitch them even way more expensive than we tried to push them. And it's one of those things like, managed Wi-Fi is cool. And part of what makes me mad in this industry sometimes is the people, and I guess it's finding that happy medium of, I'm more of a tech geek than a business person, but if you're in this for the money, you're not charging them enough. You got to talk them into this. And I seen someone bragging that on a 10-person law office, they were able to make almost $1,000 a month profit just selling them ink.
Jeez.
And is that good or bad? I don't know. Am I talking you into it? Is that a good thing? If I told you that it was $400 a month to manage your 10 devices, is that, some people say that's not even enough. One guy told me he's making a fortune right now just managing Wi-Fi hotels. Yeah, I don't have to do anything at all. I just talked them all into this managed contract. I got them to agree to it. And I make like, $2 or $3 grand a month off just a couple hotels. I don't know. Is that good? Only thing he does is push updates to him. He installed UniFi. He pushes updates, and that's really all. He'll change the password when they need to.
I guess if it's worth it. I mean, if it's worth it to the client, they, I guess it's okay.
Yeah. I have not done any testing with the higher end ERG stuff, ER8 Pro 8. It's on my to-do list, but not really. Yeah.
Largest UniFi camera install?
35 or 40 cameras right now, I think, is the biggest.
Yeah.
So
that sounds right.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, there's definitely Malta. Cool. Hey. Hoping for the go over to the Ubiquity side. It's great. They do not auto switch WAN too. Well, port forwards never will switch over, for wondering. It doesn't do that in Pfsense. So yeah, it doesn't fail when you fail over. And I said this before. I did a video on Pfsense fail over WAN. That rule applies to any firewall. The rules, generally speaking, in most firewalls don't fail over because the rules are per WAN interface. You got to remember the port forwarding rules have to be created almost in duplicate. Nice thing is, in most firewalls, you could just duplicate a rule and apply it to WAN 2. But they're two different IP addresses. They can't be the same rule. So you have to have the rules. The rules don't generally follow. You duplicate them because you assign all of them to this side and all on this side. That's just generally how that works. Network auditing, yeah. We do some of that too. Go through, find all the devices, make lists. We use a SolarWinds package for that. For our commercial stuff, SolarWinds, their stack works really, really well. Their tools are great. I've talked about them before. I've been really happy with them. Evolve with network. I don't speak whatever language it is. Is that French?
Yeah. Well, you're talking. You can. That's she wants us to watch her channel.
Oh,
which I don't think we want to do that.
Nope. Is that we will block that person. Meet your girl.
I mean,
put this user in timeout. I love that. Yep. There we go. It's French. It's a boot. It's a boot. Just spam. I have removed spam girl or meet that girl. Yeah, that's what we need. Now we have spammers in here. That's interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
Great.
Spam.
Fantastic.
Boot bot. Okay, we'll go with that.
Boot bot. Yeah, that's what it was.
So yeah, we do get a lot of the commercial stuff, and that is the hardest part for filming any of it. Because once an office is up, it's not like I can wander around with cameras in the office. I know you guys are like, hey, Fiber Ninja guy does it. And I'm like, that's a risk he takes.
Yeah.
We avoid that.
Going back to earlier, we want to keep our liability insurance cheap.
Remember that liability insurance cheap thing? Yeah. I mean, that's an important aspect. I like my clients. That's this YouTube thing. I make a couple dollars. You know where I make all the money though? That buys all this stuff. YouTube doesn't even pay for the camera that's recording it. Honestly,
the cup is empty. So you know what that means.
It's almost time to end it.
It's almost time to end it.
It is. I do have work I got to get done. So there is that too.
Hey.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So you do it. Yep. Awesome. We will definitely spend it on hot sauce. Virtual LAN, WANs, failover, single set of rules policies, while also having specific IPs for each UTM. Okay. I didn't know they did it with a virtual one like that. And that's interesting. I don't like the sonic walls that much. I've never been a fan of the sonic walls. They're always they just are too weird to configure. That's problem A. Problem B, the licensing is stupid expensive on some of them. I don't get it. Like, I don't think they're that quality of a product that did it. And we've actually seen a lot of them that failed. Granted, they were older ones, but they were just aggravating devices to deal with, and we pulled them out. So I'm not the biggest sonic wall. I think they're one of those companies that, hey, let's license all the things. And they kind of went overboard with it. I get that they need to make money, but yeah, terrible to configure. The support forums for them are constantly filled. And I've talked to a lot of techs, and I've seen enough techs on Reddit ranting about them, where they had problems with they had paid support, and the paid support people couldn't get the thing working with the way they wanted it to work. So that is, yeah. Maybe I'm working in the wrong states.
He was surprised that there was a Timmy's in the U.S.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot, but we see a lot of them because we're so close to Canada.
You know how many Timmy's there are here?
There are. Let's see.
They rival McDonald's in this state.
Yeah, so
at least in this area.
So I live about 10 miles away, and I pass 4 Timmy's on the way to work every day.
Yep. Also, if someone said, where do you get a Pfsense sticker? Pfsense stickers come right. You can order them from Pfsense. They have them on there. So that's where I got mine. I actually, you know what they don't do? And if I don't think they're listening, maybe I'll tweet them. I should get a free Pfsense sticker with each Netgate device I purchase, because I do get a Netgate sticker. It's hard to see. I get a Netgate sticker from Netgate, the hardware company paired with Pfsense. So, but yeah, I don't get those. I'll talk to them about that. I'll message them. Also, we're in the process of becoming a direct channel partner with the folks over at IX Systems and FreeNAS. I also have a new series of FreeNAS videos I'm going to be working on. I've been busy, this whole work thing getting in my way. So Fortinet makes a decent product. We have clients that have them. They seem to work. Most of those other firewalls, to me, they're very okay. They work. they're fine. It's just like the Meraki. I think Meraki's, I know you're going back to Cisco. You plug them in, they work. The clients we have with them, the only thing they complain about is paying the license fees every year for them. But they work. They're fine. They're expensive as hell. I do know, like for people with specific use cases who had problems with them, they were not trying to just have Wi-Fi, but they have a few other features, and they had just a shit ton of problems until they moved over to UniFi. That was another office. And unfortunately, they did not want to disclose or document that. I asked them if they wanted to. I asked them to do a video on it, and they said no. And I said, okay. So I was going to, because I worked with an IT department there to troubleshoot they have a very high tech installation. They're also a company that works in a industry that they're tight-lipped about what they do. So they did not want to publicly disclose even that the person works there. So yeah, they never got to do a write-up on that. There's a lot of things that happen like that. There's a lot of security things in the world that you can't talk about. And it's kind of funny. It's the rules and some of my friends have to work under who work for large corporations doing security. Like you're not even allowed to know the brand firewall that they have installed anywhere. They won't even talk about that level. There's nothing. They do not allow a single edge to be let out. So let's see. Freelance to be awesome. Kenny for Rick. Yeah. No, Oracle VM server Oracle has nothing to do with Zen that I know of. Citrix Zen server I did videos on that. We moved everything over to XCP-NG server. That's what we're running now. I'm going to do a video on just kind of the stack that we have on there. So yeah, exactly. Someone said most large companies don't want to expose any attack surface. That's exactly correct. That is why it's like that. They don't talk about a single thing that they have in there. So, and it also, they're tight-lipped about some of the disclosure. And that's just a way of it. You know what I mean? We can generalize some things, and some people I bring on to talk. Phil works in high security, and so does Tony. And they both openly talk on the podcast about different things to the limit that they can. So, app locker. How much? What you're using for that? Using blacklisting your free PBS? No, we're not blacklisting yet. We haven't had any problem. We haven't had any calls that we need to blacklist. Want to be the first? So, should someone call and harass me? If there was a blacklist I need, it's for my cell phone that rings a dozen times a day with my car warranty information, or someone trying to sell me insurance or something every single day, 4 or 5 times a day. Yeah. So that's all. That's an all-day thing. That's a whole different problem. So that's about it.
Yeah, we got to get back to work.
Yeah, car warranty goes. We're gonna get back to work. I have a project to finish. I have a video to edit on these mesh, and maybe I'll get that done tonight. Hopes aren't high. It might be tomorrow's project.
It's a good Friday project.
Yeah. You get them in Mandarin. That's interesting.
Wow.
That would be fun. I always press 1 so I can talk to someone, and I tell them my usual shtick is I got a 2012 Camry, 20,000 miles, and I get them all excited like they're getting a sale, and I hear her clicking away, and then I hang up on her after she's like somewhere after that is where I hang up on them.
So you got to keep it going, have them read the information back and be like, no, that's completely wrong. It's a 1994 Acura.
Yeah. The problem is they're spoofing local phone numbers that are expired. And I know these are expired numbers. And here's the reason why. So my phone number, the first 6 digits of it, so area code and prefix, was the first pool of numbers that we bought. When I worked in IT in a trucking company, we bought 300 numbers. This was the second number in there. And they were a block of them. They're calling out of that block. And I know because we possessed all those phones, and then we shut them all down, so they fell back into the pool.
Yeah.
So they're using the block of old numbers that are within the range of my phone, which I think is interesting.
That's awesome.
Because they're spoofing caller ID, it makes it really, really hard. They're not out-of-state calls. They're all, So, I know Barnacle has done some trolling videos with them and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's fun. Sometimes I don't always have the time to do it. If I have the time, it's great. But, yeah, it's fun. it's on my to-do list. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up.
Yep.
You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for those of you that threw some coinage at us.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
If you want to support the channel in other ways, we have an Amazon store down below. We have a Things We Love page. So you go to, we have all kinds of affiliate links for things that we have offers on or things that we're partners on. We did some reviews of some stuff. We're very open about that's how part of our that's part of our monetization. So if you have something you want to buy it through our store. Gives us a couple pennies, literally just pennies. But there's enough of you pennies.
But they add up.
They add up to dollars.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. It's kind of an interesting scale. I mean, we make a few dollars from it, but it takes a lot of you buying stuff to actually make any real money from it. Yeah, there's an entire thing about how YouTubers are burning out because in order to do YouTube as a living full time, you need to have at least like 1 million subscribers and this many views, which means you have to crank out this many. There's an article about how many different people are like, they're just like, I'm burned out. Like this is, they have to work 60, 70 hours a week to do it. And I will admit, editing and all that's hard. Coming up with videos, editing and all that. And by the way, I run an IT company, so it's difficult, but I'm obsessive, so it works. Yeah. Marvin knows how obsessive.
Shut it down.
Oh.
Driving and watching. Don't drive and watch.
Don't drive and watch.